couldn't have played that shot because that is a beauty.
Double hundred for Sachin Tendulkar.
How do you begin to talk of a man
That's glorious from Tendulkar.
who is, for a few million people, nothing short of divinity?
Just ease through the offside.
Whose every step is followed and emulated?
That's ball. No chance. No chance for the fieldsman.
A man who is part icon, part myth, and all cricketer. How do you begin to put him in context, to talk of the immense pressure, the constant expectations of a nation of 1 billion people, the compact frame that towers over legends? The bat that mixes brutality and style to produce art.
Yes, it is.
His only comparisons are with sporting icons who have transcended the boundaries of sports. Don Bradman, Diego Maradona, Pete Sampras, Muhammad Ali. A man who needs no introduction. Sachin Tendulkar on the golden generation.
It is an extraordinary performance from an extraordinary man.
Look carefully at this picture. This is Sachin Tendulkar at the age of 5. But already you can see the remarkable balance and poise in his stance, the ease with which he holds the bat, the glint of excitement in his eyes. A few years later, the same stance, the same ease, but by now, Sachin Ramesh Tendulkar's electric genius was already taking shape. Sachin's father, Marathi novelist and teacher Ramesh Tendulkar, named his cherubic bright-eyed son after his favorite composer Sachin Dev Burman. By the time he was 8, it was apparent that Sachin's interest lay neither in literature nor in music. Young Sachin was influenced by his brother to play cricket, and he was instantly hooked.
When I saw him at the Azad Maidan playing cricket and being trained by Mr. Ramakant Achrekar, he was a boy who was completely different from the others. You know, you can make out the talent. The talent was on a scale of 1 to 10. The talent was, I think, 8 or 9.
Something clicked, some seed of genius that tells you this is it, this is what I was meant to do. By the time Tendulkar was in his teens, he was already spending 8 hours a day honing his precocious skills in the dusty turf of Mumbai's Shivaji Park. He was also making a mockery of school-level cricket, putting up massive scores every time he stepped out to bat, including a 664-run unbroken stand with friend and future India teammate Vinod Kambli.
I heard so much about him. I went and saw him from a corner because I didn't want him to be conscious that I was standing behind the net. So I was hiding in a corner and I watched him bat. And I went home and I said to my wife, I said, I've seen something really, really special. And she said, what? You've never said, about, too many cricketers like this.
Tendulkar was just 14 when he was asked to play in the nets for Mumbai's then captain Dilip Vengsarkar. The small innocent boy faced Kapil Dev, India's fast bowling giant during that time, and Vengsarkar had no hesitation picking him for the Mumbai Ranji team. And the 14-year-old boy scored a century on debut.
He just went out and played at the age of 14 like a mature, seasoned cricketer. And I thought there were two educations for us seniors. It stands out more because I was at the other end and I realized, there was an exhibition of some brilliance happening. And for me, I had the best seat in the house. When I look back over the number of innings that he's played, I don't see too much of a change in him as a batsman. And that to me is a quality that, says very clearly that somebody up there made him as a finished product.
I remember the debut very well because I took the break from my office in the Times of India to go and watch the Ranji Trophy game that very afternoon on which Sachin Tendulkar scored a century against Gujarat. And I remember coming back to office after he had scored 100 and persuading my editor to let me write a front page article on the birth of a new superstar.
One season in the domestic circuit was all it took for Tendulkar to burst into the national side. In the 1989 tour to Pakistan, while most boys his age were being chaperoned to school, Sachin was busy saving Team India. Facing up to the deadliest fast bowlers in the world, Wasim Akram, Imran Khan and Waqar Yunis at their peak.
But Tendulkar decided to carry the momentum going for India.
In 1990, at the age of 17, Sachin scored his first Test century, a fantastic rearguard action to save India in England from certain defeat.
The second Test match, I had decided that come what may, I am going to spend minimum 45 minutes here and then see what happens. Because the players around me told me that the first 15 minutes are always tough, 15-20 minutes, and once you've stayed there for longer than 25-30 minutes, then things start changing gradually.
That's a thick edge.
Every match now was a stepping stone to greatness for Sachin. None more so than his counter-attacking 114 in Perth in 1992, with the rest of the Indian team reeling on the bounciest, fastest pitch in the world.
That is when I felt that yes, now I'm here to play cricket anywhere in the world. Any bowling attack, I'm confident enough to tackle them.
John Woodcock, the London Times correspondent, had come all the way from England to watch him bat in Australia. He said, gentlemen, this is the greatest batsman that I have ever seen. He said, and unlike all of you, I have seen Bradman play.
Great shot.
In the early 90s, everything Sachin touched turned to gold. He wasn't just scoring massive Test hundreds, he was winning matches for India with the ball as well. Off spin, leg spin, seam up, he could bowl just about anything, play every shot in the book and more. When he opened in ODIs for the first time in 1994, he slammed 82 of just 49 balls. And yet, he was still just a boy.
Like you see a person, as I said, you see him as you were told that he'll one day become Don Bradman of world cricket, and most of the time you laugh at any assertion like that. But you see the man, you see him bat, you do not disagree. You said yes, possibly yes.
A lot depended on my rhythm, my bat swing, and if I felt everything was going well on that particular day, then I would sometimes choose the bowlers, that these are the bowlers whom I'm going to go after them.
There was almost an infallibility about him, which is frightening when you think about it. For someone who's 16, I mean, what do you know? He gave an interview to me when he was 18, and his best quote, which I'll always remember, it was, at 18, you're not young anymore.
In a world of men, it's the baby-faced boy who had all the answers. The cherubic batsman with a mop of curly hair was already turning into a symbol for a vibrant new India. Tendulkar is destiny's child, a born genius with the bat and a cricketing mind beyond compare. But he has never been complacent with his talent. Perhaps no other cricketer enjoys honing his skills as much as Sachin. In the nets, he's always smiling, always laughing, and perhaps that is the secret to his success. When he was 25, an age where most cricketers are starting their careers, Sachin had already 16 Test centuries to his name.
मैं जब से 2001 से उनके साथ खेला हूँ, मैं हर बारी उन्हें देखता हूँ कि वो उतनी ही हंगर के साथ प्रैक्टिस करते हैं जितना कि एक यंगस्टर है, जितना कि और उससे कहीं ज़्यादा प्रैक्टिस करते हैं.
But Sachin has used the abundance of talent, used his mind to not let that talent fail.
In 1996, when the World Cup came to the subcontinent, it was just the right platform for the man aiming to be the world's best batsman, and he grabbed the opportunity with both hands. Though India failed to win the cup, Sachin scored a massive 523 runs at an average of 87 to become the highest scorer in the tournament.
I don't think India had ever seen a player, or India had ever seen a player in his first 6 years of his career who would play with the kind of aggressive freedom as Tendulkar did. He would destroy a bowling attack.
In 1998, Sachin singled out Australia.
Has lashed at this, Tendulkar.
Then the world's best cricket outfit, to showcase his talent and drive. He scored his maiden double 100, 200s and a 50 in just 3 tests against the Aussies, almost single-handedly winning India a home series.
Oh, I have no idea how much this means to him.
And then in the ODIs, he scored 2 back-to-back centuries against the Aussies in Sharjah to give India another series win. He was so brutal in these innings that he almost finished the career of some Aussie bowlers and gave the rest nightmares.
I think every single time we played against Sachin, him and I always had a great contest, and I think he knew when he was facing me, he had to bat well, otherwise I'd get him out. And I knew if I didn't bowl well, I'd get smacked, and most of the time he smacked me.
Tendulkar was already being compared to the greats of the game, none more so than the other little master from Mumbai, Sunil Gavaskar. Gavaskar was India's best batsman, head and shoulders ahead of the rest before Sachin came along, and he could see in Sachin the man who would break all his records.
I have to be absolutely honest and say that if he was not going to be beset by any injuries or anything of the sort, he was going to have all the batting records in the world.
But there was an even bigger compliment heading Sachin's way, the biggest you could get if you were a batsman. The reclusive Sir Don Bradman, the man who finished his career with a test average over 99, an almost unbelievable number, a man who is, without argument, the greatest batsman the game has seen, confided to his wife that Tendulkar reminded him of his own batting.
He carries the weight of a nation much the same way Sir Donald did for Australia, so he's probably the closest thing to Bradman from a modern day player's perspective, and some of his shots are very similar to the way Sir Donald played, so it's probably a fair analysis.
Well, I mean, this is the greatest compliment one can ever get, and it's a sheer coincidence because I only got to see the cassettes when I was 16 or 17. Until then, I was just so engrossed in my own game. There, after a few years, you get to know that Sir Don's style resembles, my style rather resembles Sir Don's. I mean, that's something amazing.
Smashes it.
For India, Tendulkar was much more than the runs he scored on the field. He was a hero. The boy next door, the man every child must dream of becoming. He was everyone's favourite son.
Well played, and thank you, Sachin Tendulkar.
The expectations on him were incredible, the mass hysteria that followed him unrelenting. But Tendulkar took it all in his stride.
I think balance is the most important thing. He's got balance on the field, and that balance on the field is helped to a great extent by the balance off the field. Without that, so many cricketers have been lost.
I had my father as my role model. Never lost his temper, never rose his voice. He was absolutely calm and balanced. I always felt that if I can be half as good as what my father was, I know that I'm on the right track.
He was only 23 when he was given the captaincy for the Indian national side. But the man with the sharp cricketing brain, a man who was always helping and advising his teammates, just couldn't grasp this aspect of cricket. He lasted 2 miserable years as captain and was removed. A reluctant Sachin was made captain again in 1999, at a time when the match-fixing scandal was brewing.
because he was expecting so much from his team members with regard to performance on the field, and whenever that wouldn't happen, then he would feel extremely frustrated and always wanted to do well.
Things were definitely not going his way. I think his batting kind of took a lot of beating, and then there was this match-fixing controversy that was going on, and that pressure really eats you up as a player. But mind you, he's always a huge force behind the side, be it making decisions, be it shaping the youngsters.
I feel that selector should have given him some more time, so that when this phase was over, when all that controversy was behind him, he would have become a much better captain.
Just as Sachin gave up his captaincy for the second time, Indian cricket was hit by the revelations of the match-fixing scandal. Plunged into a mess that had no easy solution in sight, Indian cricket needed a radical change as it headed into the new millennium. Despite the thousands of runs Tendulkar has scored over the years for India, his influence on Indian cricket is impossible to pin down. For generations of Indian captains and players, Sachin has been a constant force.
There was a time when Kapil Dev was there, and he has played with Vengsakar and Manjrekar, so many of that era. And then there was a time when he was the captain and Azharuddin was there, Ravi Shastri was there, and then now a phase when Yuvraj and Dhoni and all these cricketers have come in. And look at the way he has been able to adjust with all these team members.
You can see the impact that the Tendulkar career has had on someone like Sehwag, or on someone like Dhoni, or on all the batsmen who want to go out and play their shots after him. I mean, he changed the way children played their cricket.
मैंने क्रिकेट अगर सीखी या खेलना शुरू किया तो वो सिर्फ तेंदुलकर की वजह से। जैसा वो टीवी में खेलते मुझे नजर आते थे, मैं वैसी शैडो प्रैक्टिस टीवी के बाहर करता था मैच देखते हुए कि मैं भी ऐसा खेलूं, मैं भी ऐसा दिखूं।
Dhoni said in an interview, it took me 3 days to just get, or 3 matches to just get used to the fact that I'm in the same team with him, because I just kept looking at him all the time. Sachin he's able to become Sachin and stop being Tendulkar to everyone else who comes in, and he's able to do that pretty well.
For me, meeting Sachin Tendulkar, it's like when a Femina Miss Universe becomes Miss Universe and she's got that expression on her face. It was not as much as that, but internally I was feeling like that.
Straight back past the bowler for 4.
Well.
Smashes it down the ground for 4.
The Master Blaster was also fulfilling the predictions of all those who watched him play. He became the first player to cross 10,000 ODI runs, the youngest player to play 100 tests, and in the 2003 World Cup, he propelled India all the way to the finals, scoring 673 runs, including a whirlwind 98 in a thrilling win against Pakistan. But the cup dream eluded him yet again.
98!
I haven't seen any other cricketer with that kind of passion at every level of the game. I have seen great players who switch on and switch off depending on the game. But Tendulkar doesn't do that. Tendulkar plays every game that he used to play at the beginning of his career till yesterday with the same kind of passion.
Sachin was also changing his style, adapting to the needs of the team, turning his back to the epithet of the Master Blaster to adopt a style more suited for playing a long innings.
He became an accumulator more for a reason, because the team wanted him to do like that. It's not that I agree with that kind of a role which Sachin had to play, because I always felt that Sachin should have remained his dominant self the way he did before this phase started.
सब लोग कहते हैं बैटिंग अच्छी हो रही है, लेकिन पर्टिकुलरली एक कवर ड्राइव मारने जाते हैं, कॉट बैंड हो जाते हैं। 3 बार वो शॉट पे आउट हुए, तो उनके दिमाग में आया, तो उन्होंने नेट में ऐसी प्रैक्टिस स्टार्ट की कि मैंने आउटसाइड ऑफ स्टंप कवर ड्राइव मारना ही नहीं है, आउटसाइड ऑफ स्टंप मारना है तो सिर्फ स्क्वायर कट मारना है या बैकफुट पंच मारना है। तो उन्होंने वही किया, क्योंकि उनकी जो एक कह सकते हैं कि वो ग्रेट इसलिए हैं कि वो जो चाहते हैं वो कर सकते हैं। उन्होंने डबल अंडर बनाया, वो मुझे तो याद नहीं कि उसमें एक भी कवर ड्राइव मारा होगा।
In December 2005, Tendulkar finally overtook his childhood hero. He scored a century against Sri Lanka to go past Sunil Gavaskar's world record of 34 Test hundreds. Strangely enough, Tendulkar had never won a Test series outside the subcontinent, and in 2007, after years of toil, that dream came true in England.
Anil, Rahul, Saurav, we all have been waiting for that particular moment for a long time, and when it actually happens in your life, it's a special moment. That's what we kept telling all the youngsters, that this is a rare moment, this is a special moment. It has happened to you on your first tour itself.
Injuries and changes to his batting style, though, had kept Tendulkar from dominating world cricket from 2005. But in 2008, at the age of 35, Sachin was back at his best, scoring at will all around the world. But it was here, on a hot Mohali October, with this shot, that he broke Brian Lara's record of highest Test runs. Soon enough, he became the first batsman in Test history to cross 12,000 runs.
The ground stands up, the commentary box stands up. Every Australian player comes out there and shakes.
It was the end of chasing records. Now Tendulkar would only set the standards that others will try to chase.
Sachin Tendulkar becomes the highest run scorer in the history of Test match cricket.
Most of us would be satisfied once we've climbed Mount Everest. It almost seems that Sachin Tendulkar is looking for some imaginary mountain that no one else will ever be able to scale.
It's Monday International, 43 for Sachin Tendulkar.
He was always special, #1 in the world, a prodigy then, genius now.
God of cricket, I think there's no doubt about it.
Whenever I am feeling depressed, all I will do is take a videotape of Sachin Tendulkar batting, and the smile will come back on my face.
True legend in his lifetime, Sachin Tendulkar.
In real terms, only God can bat better than him.
Closest thing to batting perfection, Sachin Tendulkar.
Oh, that's a magnificent shot. Unbelievable.